picture of the coluncos. Coluncos were paths or trails that Yumbos used for commerce. They will transport products such as cotton, sugar, from coast to the Andean region.
Here is an interesting fact about coluncos. Colunco was actually a word given by the Spanish when they heard the noise that the cow's bells would do. Cow's bells would go kulu kulu, so that's why they decided to name those roads like that. Now, visitors must ask first in order to get inside the coluncos. This is to show respect and consideration to all the Yumbos that died and were buried near close coluncos.
Now we're gonna see some real sculptures about the Yumbos. So you can take a look at how they look like. So before the Incan Empire arrived to Ecuador, Ecuador was already being occupied by several groups that were developed. Yumbos had a real role inside the history of Ecuador. The word Yumbo comes from the Aymara language or Quechua language that means yunga. That means jungle. Now here we have an example of the tolas, or these truncated pyramids that were used for sacred places. But mostly, as you can see, we have some on the top, and those belong to the shamans. And as they will go down, the people that were poor, they will use them. So it was like a differentiation between social status. Here we can observe some crafts used by them for their daily basis. Now here we have a tomb. Tombs were really important for Yumbos. Yumbos used to believe in life after death, so they were buried with things that were valuable to them, like combat tools, food, jewelry, or stuff they use in their daily basis. So now take a look. Can you imagine being buried with things that you consider valuable? We're gonna know about the vanishing of the Yumbos. But first, we're gonna meet an interesting character, really important in the Yumbos community. Now, here we have the Sacharuna. Sacharuna in Quechua means man of the land or man of the mountain. Now, as you can see, his cloth is made of cotton, from the trees. And also, he was the most important character in the Yumbos community because he was this shaman. And he was the one who got up to the sacred pools and performed the rituals and ceremonies of the Yumbos. Now, what I promised you. I'm gonna tell you about why the Yumbos disappeared. So we have our first theory of why or how the Yumbos vanished. And this is because there was an eruption from the neighbors Purulawa and Huahuapichincha that covered the entire city and region in ash. This is why the Yumbos had to leave their homes and move to other places. These places are assumed to be Colorado, Santo Domingo de los Colorados. This is also an important center for the Yumbos culture. As you can observe, this region is rich in flora and fauna. Here's an example. This plant is known as the Camacho's plant, but do you notice the shape? It kind of looks like an umbrella, so it was known as an umbrella for the poor ones. This bridge that we're gonna go through is gonna take us to the sacred pools. We have arrived to the sacred pools. We're looking at two different pools, sacred pools, that represent duality in life. This first pool has the shape of the sun, and the other one has the shape of the moon. These both pools complement each other as in life, like women and men. We also have these water conducts that have the shape of a cross, and it was used by the Yumbos and the people from this place to get the water from the hills right up there. We are here at the ceremonial pool, and we're gonna take a look at this polygonal shaped pool that it's believed that the real shape of this pool is puma, because those were animals that were worshipped by Yumas. These pools were used as mirrors for their astronomical studies. As you can see, the pools were not that deep because Yumas weren't that tall. And how many steps can you count on that stair over there? 7, because 7 was an important and perfect number in every culture around here, around the region. We also see this kind of altar where the Sacharuna that we talked before used to step in front and then perform the astronomical studies. How do they do that? They used to put sand, a little layer of sand as the floor, and this will protect their eyes from looking directly to the sun. They will study the sky by looking to the water, and then the water will project the sky. Here we have a better perspective of the pools. We have a total of 6 sacred pools, and there is only one that has the shape of a circle. Now here we can appreciate some of the writing skills that Yumbos used to have. This symbol is really important because it represents the fertility of Earth. This reminds me of a legend that it's called the Yumba. So the legend tells us that there was this family who were dedicated to agriculture and products such as sugar, bananas, and beans. This family had a beautiful young girl who, as the time went by, turned 16. She oddly fell in love with a chagra, and chagras were farmers from Kalakali who had to move from their lands to be neighbors to Yumbos. Why did I say it oddly? Well, you're gonna see why. So her family tried to look for information in order to see who this guy was, and it turns out that this guy was already married and he had 3 kids. So her family didn't approve this kind of relationship, so they forced her to do some hard work, hoping that she will forget about her feelings. But this was useless because she kept thinking about him. They locked her inside her bedroom and they waited. And she escaped from her room and she climbed out of her window and she asked him to take her with him in front of her parents. Now this is 21st century and you might be thinking, just let her go, just let it be. But that's not the way her parents thought. So they locked her inside again, but this time they punished her. And her mom had had enough of her daughter's attitude, and she went to her bedroom and she told her, "You dumb girl, you are just like a stone, hard and stubborn. You have the heart of a stone. Aren't you moved by your suffering?" This girl didn't care about what her mom told her, and she just ignored her because she had only one thing in her mind: sneaking out. So she did. On a Holy Friday during Easter, she snuck out and she went to meet her lover. On her way, she had 2 options, 2 directions. One way that everybody knew and the other way that nobody knew. This other way would lead her inside Nanegal town and would lead her to a suspension bridge. Guess which path she chose? Right, she chose the nobody knows path. And when she was getting to this suspension bridge, she found this huge stone. She leaned against this stone and she started crying because she was exhausted and tired. When she was crying, this beautiful woman appeared and she told her, what was your problem? So this girl told her all about her problems and trials, and this woman offered all her help. She promised her all kinds of luxuries and money and love. So this was a strange thing, and I don't know about you guys, but if someone asks me about this or promises me some kind of luxuries, I wouldn't take it. So this girl accepted these kind of promises, and this woman with magic traces opened a door inside of the stone, and she went in, and the girl followed her inside the stone too, and the door closed and never opened again. And since then, her family were looking for them for her daughter, but they never found anything but her belongings near to this stone. And since then, visitors, when they pass by this stone, they greet it with respect and consideration, because Jumbos were really respectful for death. Which reminds me about important fact of Coluncos. Coluncos, do you remember what Coluncos were? These were roads for Jumbos to commerce and to trade things. So Coluncos, it is said that visitors must ask in order to get in the Coluncos as showing respect for the death of these Jumbos. And like these stories, there are many stories about Tulipe and its surroundings, and I will tell you about them, but I don't have that much time. So next time you come to Tulipe, make sure you ask for these kind of stories to your tour guide. You will be amazed. Now, this has been all for our tour. Now remember that visiting Tulipe, it's more than going to a time and adventure machine. It's more than just an old place. It's a remaining of a powerful culture. See you soon!